Campfire story time with Outlaw. Eh? Bedtime stories. Bedtime stories with Outlaw before it gets dark. That's a really good idea when you're in the friggin' middle of nowhere by yourself. Just 10K that way. You saw trees broken in half that scared the living shit out of you. And now you're camped here alone, and we're gonna tell scary stories by the campfire. Brilliant. Anyways, yeah, I had a few people email me asking me about the grizzly story, so I want to tell you about the grizzly. So there was twice in my life, I've seen lots of grizzlies, okay? I hunt moose and caribou in one of the most heavily populated grizzly areas in all of Canada. It's nuts how many grizzlies there are where I go. Seen lots, like, I don't know, hundreds of grizzlies over my lifetime. And like I said, I spent a lot of time out in the woods, and twice that it was me or the bear. And you know what? When shit hits the fan and it's go time, you know, and it's me or something that's coming to get me, I'll probably win. I'll probably win the battle because I don't quit. I never give up. I'll fight for my life, and that's what I did. And like I say, it's only happened twice. I've had lots of times where I've been charged by grizzlies, okay? It's a huge difference because grizzlies will false charge you. So they'll do what's called a bluff charge, okay? And I've had that quite a few times, and you want to be ready when grizzlies do that. You certainly got to be ready for it, but you can tell when you've been bluff charged and when you've been charged for real, when they've made up their mind that you are dinner. Totally different scenario. Or if they're protecting their young, totally different scenario. You know the difference. So anyways, I was moose hunting, caribou moose hunting, way up northern BC, and I shot a bull moose. This is the first time. Shot a bull moose, big bull, and way back in the mountains, in the hills. And we are like as remote as it can get, right? And sorry people, a little bit of a malfunction there. So anyways, yeah, we're way back in the mountains, and I shot this moose, and it took us a couple of days to get that moose out of there, packing it out, and I was there. I was on my trip for 3 weeks, so it was about a week later, quite a bit later, a week after I shot that moose, and I was in the same general area, and I saw another moose, and my partner was just like a couple kilometers from me over the hill, and so I saw another moose, and it was very close to where I had shot the first moose. And of course, with the first moose, we took the quarters off of him, took the horns off, and then the main part of the carcass, excuse me, we just boned it all out, took all the meat off of it, left the bones there, but no meat on it. And so anyways, I see this other bull moose, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go down there and check them out and whatnot, and because there was 4 of us on the trip, right? What the hell is with this fire? Jesus. I'm gonna move the camera because I'm getting smoked out here. Oh, man, that's freaking awful. Fire's kind of, I wish I could split this other chunk of cedar a little bit better, but I can't. Gotta get the fire going. Hang on. anyways, I'm going to try to make the story a little bit quicker. So I'm alone. My buddy's a couple kilometers away. I go down, I'm heading down, and the moose that I had shot was kind of like on one side of this pond, and this other moose was on the other side of this little pond. So I head down there that way. Well, the only way for me to get close to the second moose, and we needed 2 moose because there's 4 of us in our group, and 1 moose, like my family eats 1 moose, or close to it. So we need at least 2 moose to feed all of us, all of our 4 families. And so that's why I went looking for the second moose. And to get to that moose, I had to go around the side of the pond where I had shot the other moose about 5 or 6 days prior to that. And I did, as I'm walking along back through there, I caught a whiff of something, and like a bad smell. And I like the minute I smelt it, I knew that it wasn't the remnants of the moose from 5 days ago, because all that was left was the entrails, the stomach and whatnot, and the rib cage, but no meat left on it or nothing, right? So and it wasn't that smell. It wasn't the smell of a gutted animal. It was the smell. What I smelt was, if anybody has a dog, especially a hairy dog, a big dog, it smelt like wet dog. All right. It smelled like wet dog, and it was awful. And I went, oh, and I knew right away. I knew right away as soon as I smelt it, I went, holy shit, grizzly. And literally the minute I said that, guys, I'm in an opening, and the timber is, because I'm on the edge of the pond, the timber is about 60 yards, 50 yards from me to the edge of timber. And between me and the timber are willows. And so I hear, I smell that. The minute I smell that, I hear crunch, 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 like I hear an animal coming. And I knew it was a grizzly immediately. I knew from the smell. And I see and I'm looking, and I got my gun on me. I got my little day pack with me, with my lovely sweater that my mother-in-law knitted me. And this fire does not want me to tell this story. Jesus. Like, seriously. And look at that, I moved the camera. All right, what are you trying to tell me up there? Okay. Yeah, so I'm standing there, got my day pack on, got my rifle. Rifle shouldered, I got 4 rounds. Okay, I got 1 in the chamber and 4 in the mag in the clip. And I see the willows in front of me just getting folded over, like, and I can see a figure. It's thick. These willows are thick, and I can see a figure there, and but I can see the willows just getting folded over in front of me. And I'm telling you something. If you've ever heard somebody say the old saying that I saw my life flash before my eyes, that is a true, 100% true saying. That's real. Because I swear to God, as true as I sit here, I swear to God that happened to me. I saw my entire life flash before my eyes. And it's crazy, man. It was like time stopped. Because I'm sure that by the time I heard the bear coming to the time that the bear was dead, I'm sure was only maybe 15 seconds. I'm guessing a little bit, but probably 15 seconds, okay? But in those 15 seconds, my life literally flashed before my eyes. Okay, my kids were young at the time, and my mind immediately went to my wife and kids. And it's crazy, because if you haven't had it happen, you probably sit there and go, come on. But I had like flashbacks, okay? I had like flashbacks. As I'm holding my gun there, I had flashbacks of my wife and my kids and just going, and I went, I remember in my mind going, fuck, like, God, I don't want to go right now. It's not my time. Like, come on. And I'm like, and I also remember going, this is going to suck. Like, this thing is going to tear me apart, and it's not going to be a quick death. This is going to suck. And anyways, it was crazy how time stood still. And I went kind of losing my train of thought because it like brings back memories, right? But anyways, I had all these flashbacks. I'm like, God, my buddy's gonna come and find my body and have to tell my wife and my kids, and like, this is awful. Like, I'm just like, this is just friggin' awful. And I got my gun up, and the willows are getting full, and all of a sudden, about 30 yards in front of me, the grizzly stood up on his back legs. He stood up, and he was kind of looking like, if you or me, he's kind of looking this way, and I could see him sniffing. And he's standing up, and those willows were over 6 feet high, and that bear, the willows, when he stood up, came up to here on him. So he was probably an 8 to 9 foot bear, big animal, and he's sniffing. And I could see his face, and I had the gun on him, safety off by now, and I had the gun right there in his chest. And I'm going to do it for you. I hope you don't think I'm nuts, but this is exactly what he did. I hope when I do this, I look right at you, but he was sniffing, and he's looking, and then he just went like this. And he looked right into my eyes through my scope. And as soon as he made eye contact, I mean, it's not really eye contact, I don't think. Any grizzly experts out there chime in. I don't think he made actual eye contact, but he knew that the smell that he was smelling was right there, And he didn't know what it was, but he knew that that was the smell and that was dinner. And I should have shot him right then and there. I should have shot, but I didn't. And instantly, as soon as he did that, I kind of was like, holy shit. He went down on all fours and came from 30 yards, came directly at me, hard at me. And I'm telling you guys, Google it, whatever you want to do. I'm telling you, because I've seen him do it. Grizzlies can run 30 miles an hour. Okay. It's insane how fast they are. And he came at me from 30 yards. And when he bust out of the willows, he was 20 yards from me. Okay, 20 yards when he came through the willows. And I shoot a 300 Winchester Magnum. And when I moose hunt, I shoot two 20 grain silver tip bullets. And he busted out of the willows, and I unloaded on him. And I shot all 5 shells. And I shot all 5 shells at that grizzly right there, right square in the chest. And as I say, first round was squeezed off at about 20 yards. And when he dropped dead, he was about 8 feet from me, a little over my height. I'm 6'2". He was 8 feet from my feet, spread out on the ground like this. And he was dead, thank God. And I'm telling you something, the most horrifying experience that I ever went through in my life. And I'm lucky to be alive. It just, it wasn't my time. But so there's your grizzly story. It's not a I never say stories, even when it comes to Sasquatch or whatever. I never say stories because stories are made up. So there's my grizzly encounter. That's what happened. I'm lucky to be here. And it was either me or the bear, and it ended up being the bear. And that's why I got him right here, because one of us had to die that day. That's the bottom line. One of us had to die. So it was the bear. Real quick, second incident, a few years later, same area. I go to the same area. Been hunting the same area for over 25 years. Same area. And my good hunting buddy and I are out. It's a very foggy, cold, foggy morning. And we're out in the tundra, walking through the willows, patches of timber, and we're calling moose. Because you call a moose, they'll come if they're in rut. So we're calling moose, and it's all great. We're out, everything's all hunky-dory. And so I'm calling moose, and couldn't see more than about 50 yards because of the fog. And we stopped walking, and I started calling again. And as soon as I did 1 or 2 calls, I hear my buddy's right there beside me, and I hear crunch, 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 because there's a bit of snow on the ground and whatnot. And I'm like, so I said to my buddy, I'm like, hey, I said, don't move. There's a moose coming, and he's right there in front of us. So we're standing there, and I hear crunch, crunch, crunch. He's getting closer and closer, and the willows are over 6 feet high, right? So these are huge moose, right? These moose are in northern BC, so they're the Alaska Yukon species. So they're huge animals. When they're standing up, their shoulders. When they're standing up, their shoulders are like probably 7 feet from the ground to their shoulders. Then their head sticks up even more than that. So what I'm trying to say is, when you hear something in 6-foot willows or 6.5-foot willows and you don't see it, it's not a moose. And that's exactly what happened. I saw the willows moving, just like the previous encounter. Saw the willows moving, and as soon as I saw the willows moving and no moose head, I said, holy fuck, grizzly. Pardon my language. As soon as I said, holy fuck, grizzly, my buddy, he kind of looks over and he goes, what? And I go, grizzly. And as soon as I said it louder, the damn grizzly stood up, and he's 25 yards from us. He stood up and he saw us, and I knew as soon as he saw us, he went like that. He went to go down. And at 25 yards, you're taking a chance, right? By not shooting them. So at 25 yards, it was the bear or us. So I chose us, and I had to dispatch that grizzly. So yeah, that was the second encounter. Not quite as horrific as the first one, but pretty bad, pretty scary, because we were walking, minutes before that, and had we been walking and calling, that bear would have come right up behind us. And I said that to my buddy afterwards. I go, we were walking and calling moose at the same time, man. We're so lucky that we stopped for a minute to listen, because if we hadn't, he'd have come up behind us, and for sure one of us wouldn't be here right now, guaranteed. They're hungry, man. They are out when they're out walking around. They are out to feed. They are out to look for food, whether that's berries, salmon, grubs, or animals. Okay, so that's what they do. They eat, and then they hibernate. So there's your 2 grizzly stories. I hope that satisfied those people that were emailed me and were like, Outlaw, tell us about the grizzly. Tell us about the grizzly. And I'm like, God, it took me a lot of years to forget those grizzlies. You never forget. When something like that happens, you don't ever forget that, right? And I've carried it with me for a lot of years. So, you know what? I'm out in their sandbox, okay? I don't blame the bears. I'm out in their sandbox, and if you're out in their sandbox, you got to expect to see them. And if you do see them, there's a chance they could come after you, and I'm okay with that. Like, I will protect myself, but as I said, if my time comes and that's how God wishes to take me off this planet, then what do you do? I had another person email me saying, after they watched my wilderness journey, saying, hey, Outlaw, are you going to apply for a loan again? And which is why I did my wilderness journey, was because of my experience with casting for a loan. And they were like, hey, are you going to apply for a loan again? You should apply for a loan, man. We'd love to see you on there and stuff. And answer that question, don't know yet. I've honestly been thinking about it a lot, because right now is the casting process for season 12. And I've been thinking about it, but I don't know. I'd like to know what you all think. You know, what do you guys think? That person, that subscriber thought I should. And, you know, I may. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I forgot my favorite coffee mug. I must have left it in my side-by-side. My favorite Outlaw Country coffee mug. Oh, hot. I forgot my favorite Outlaw Country coffee mug at my side-by-side. So I gotta drink it out of the hot pot. First world problem, right? First world problem. A couple of my awesome, you guys are all awesome. Every single subscriber is freaking awesome. But a couple of subscribers messaged me. I can't remember if it was through the email or comment. And they messaged me and asked about, said, hey, how do we get an Outlaw Country coffee mug? And I'm going to figure it out, man. 3 or 4 of you have messaged me about them. And no problem. Hell, man, they cost my wife, they cost Mrs. Outlaw like $8 to make. $9 or $10 or something to make. And I got no problem giving them to you guys. I don't think I could afford to give away 400 if everybody wanted one, but like right now, like say, I think four of you have asked for, hey, how do we get our Outlaw Country coffee mug? So Mrs. Outlaw can make some 100%, and Mrs. Outlaw can make them, you betcha. And the only thing is we'd have to figure out shipping. I'd have to figure out shipping to you. So, and how much shipping would be and all that kind of stuff. So, I can't remember everybody that asked for an Outlaw Country mug, but you guys that did, people, I say guys, women, whatever. You subscribers that did ask me about them. Holy Jesus, that's hot. You subscribers that did ask me about your Outlaw Country coffee mug, email me, outlawcountry1896@gmail.com, and we'll chat on there about it. I'll figure it out. If you really want a coffee mug, hey man, of course, $10 times 4 people, $40. Of course you'll get one. Well, like I say, we'll have to figure out the shipping. The shipping may be I don't know, we'll figure it out. Just a white coffee mug. But she has a machine that, they're not a sticker. She has a machine that, like, I don't know, not smart enough to figure that out. She has a machine that like burns in or etches in or whatever. My Outlaw Country logo, the same font and everything. They're really cool. I love it. She made it for me for Christmas, and I'm like, I love it. Awesome Christmas gift. Thank you so much. See if I can. Definitely can get some more made. Email me and we'll chat. I'll get your address and mail them to you. Just got to figure out how much mailing will cost. Do what I can. I can't believe how warm that got, how hot that got. My fire's pathetic right now, but I got my good warm, super warm clothes on. I always wear, so I wear a base layer, and it's a moisture wicking base layer. Super good when you're doing hard hikes and stuff, because you do sweat and it pulls the moisture away from your body, but the garment dries out real quick. So I wear a moisture wicking base layer, underpants, shirt, long sleeve, moisture wicking, and then I layer from there. And I don't have, like, especially something like this, and even if, like, I go out lots in January, February, March, all winter, and I don't wear a lot because I can't pack it. That's why I wear the moisture wicking base layer, and then I've got just a normal Stanfield type real thin wool shirt on underneath that, long sleeve, and then I've got my good, super wicked awesome handmade wool sweater that I did reviewed in one of my videos after my alone trip. And then I got my down jacket, and like under that tarp, your body heat Your body heat stays inside, like this jacket and these insulated jeans I wear, these moose jeans, they have like a fleece lining inside them. They're wicked. Underneath that tarp, it's just like almost like having a sleeping bag. The body heat stays inside of there, right? So I'll wrap myself right up good in that tarp. I can tell you right now, I ain't gonna have a fire going all night. That sucks, but whatever. There's not enough good wood, and we've had some rain here just in the last few days, so I'm going to try to get a little bit more dry wood so I can keep the fire rolling. But anyways, that's kind of what I wear for clothing and whatnot. And I got my gloves, right? My wool sock gloves, my hobo gloves. Love my hobo gloves. And I got my toque, and I throw my toque on and jump in, good to go.